Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another car video. You have to play the game. I'm going to start this off with a story. For those of you who are like college basketball fans, y'all might remember a couple years ago, right? When Yale played Baylor in the NCAA college basketball tournament, right? And Yale beat Baylor, right? Now, Baylor was, they had all these superstars, big time players, and, it's Yale. They still an Ivy League school and whatnot, man. Good athletes still, but, Baylor versus Yale, right? And, Yale beat Baylor, and they had the post-game interview, right? With a couple Baylor players, notably Taurean Prince, who, now plays for the Atlantic Hawks in the NBA, right? And so one of the questions was, they were like, well, how does Yale out-rebound Baylor, right? And so Taurean Prince said, well, when a shot goes off and comes off the rim, you grab it with two hands and you bring it down. That's considered a rebound. Yale had more of those than we did. And it just how he did it. I was like, damn. They shut down, that shit shut down the interview, right? And then there was another interview Taurean Prince did about that because they were making fun of that first one, right? They say, well, Taurean, how do you shoot a free throw? He was like, well, you get at the line, you get the ball, you bend your knees a little bit, then you put it up, you flick your wrist, and you score it, and that's considered a free throw. It's like, oh, snap. You know what, man? I'm going to tell you what with both of them. All right, technically, both of them are correct. Technically, both of them are correct, right? But what he might not say, if you're going to really talk about rebounding, if you actually in the game, it's not that simple just to grab it off the rim because you got two other people trying to grab it. You tired, you sweaty. And shoot, they running into you, probably elbowing you and stuff. That's why when Ron played basketball, I shot bows if I grabbed a rebound. I'd be like, Seriously, I back him off of me. And shooting free throws, especially if you in some competitive game, like anybody's played high school ball, college ball, even rec league ball with somebody there, it's easy to say, oh yeah, just stand at the line and shoot. But you really can't. You really can't, because it's like, one, you got all this adrenaline, you've been running around, then you trying to be all calm, and with adrenaline you get a little shaky. That's just the bottom line about it. You get a little shaky, so that's kind of hard. And then if you playing a ball game, shooting a free throw, okay, like say a college basketball game, you got a bunch of people, bunch of fans behind there waving all sorts of shit, talking about your mom and shit, asking if you can read this sign or some shit like that. It's like, it's a lot more to it, right? Or I give you another example. I've always said I've worked in gyms. I remember the first gym I worked at, I was going to work on the front desk. So they gave me all the technical stuff to do, right? But then they said, okay, we're going to put you through some role play because this is what really happens. So it's like totally different. It's like you get rude. I mean, they'll say you got to do customer service and all that, right? But then you get a bunch of rude customers. Shoot, we've had like some white customers call some people at the desk nigga. It's like you had some one guy. I was ready to fight. In fact, one woman there, she called her husband. He was ready to fight a customer. So you get all sorts of shit. And my point is, I get a lot of people who just ask me technical aspects of the game all the time. And you tell them some stuff, but really, there's a big difference. You can know all the technical stuff, but you still got to get out there and play the damn game. Because, like, you get people who watch my videos, some other people's videos about different aspects of the game, and that's good. And they'll say, they'll call some videos exciting. They'll call it too long, boring, or theory, or some shit like that. But at the end of the day, no matter what, you got to go play the game. You got to go play the motherfucking game, man. Shit. And when you actually play, it's different. Like, I can tell you, I can actually tell you something like, yeah, women choose the men, they're going to look at you. But You out there in the street and a woman looking at you, she might not necessarily be choosing you. She might be sizing your ass up to rob your ass or something, because you got some women out there like that. Or she looking at you like, damn, that motherfucker's so ugly, fascinating looking. Or she just, whatever. You playing a game or whatever. She doing a whole bunch of other stuff. The only way you gonna know that is get the game. I can't tell you the nuances. You know, just like in basketball, I can't tell you the nuances. Shit. Like, I used to play a lot of rec league football, right? And Rom used to get away with holding a lot. But technically, you ain't supposed to do it. But I'm out there, and I knew I'd do it in such a way it wasn't obvious. Or at least the ref didn't feel like calling it. Usually, if refs let, like in sports, you find refs let a lot of little shit go. Because it's just like, all right, what we going to call? But it's technically, if you look at the books and stuff, they shouldn't be doing it. But there's always like little cheats and stuff. Because even with everything, I can give you general ideas, or me or any dating coach can give you general ideas, man, but you got to go out there and talk to a woman. I keep getting guys, especially recently, like, what do I say? What do I say? Dude, you got to go out there and just talk. You got to play. It's like that dude who reads everything about taking a free throw or something or rebounding, but never gets in the game or never goes out there and actually practice free throws. Or never does anything. And that's the same thing with this game of man gets woman, man. You can hear all this good shit and say, oh yeah, it's good game and shit, and say, okay, but are you getting out there actually doing it, man? Because I get a lot of guys who do that, say, Rom, I read all your shit and all this. I said, well, did you go out there and actually do what I said do? You got to, man, because you know what, coming up, I didn't have books. None of the old heads had books. We ain't have videos. We didn't get to pick and choose who we wanted to listen to or get entertained by. All we had is one fucking thing. We had to go out there. They just say, look, go. I remember old heads, man, when I was little, man. I remember this, like, fine girl moved in my neighborhood. They didn't say, well, I want you to read this chapter on what to do. They said, man, you go knock on that girl's door. Seriously, you got to. I mean, even, like, I'll give you one. A lot of dudes be asking me about advanced shit in sex. I ain't calling no names, but they be asking me about the 9 levels of orgasm and shit. I've had a few dudes ask me about that, but yet they say they virgins. And no, I ain't calling no names, but I gotta be real with that shit. Motherfucker ain't had sex yet, but they asking about how to take some women to some advanced level. I'm like, dude, you need to focus first on getting sex. I mean, you can read about it, but it's a big difference between reading about sex and then when your penis actually go in a tight vagina. It's the same thing. People got to go out there and just do it, man. Because at this point, I'm getting to the point, like, I might ask them some general questions or somebody want to just know something just for their own edification. But if they keep asking how to do something, I'm like, dude, you got to go out there, man. Because one, you got to figure out how you doing it. Let me use a basketball example again. Like I said, when Rom get out there, rebound the ball, I shoot bows. In fact, I played against some bigger dudes. They were like, damn, Rom. Because I be playing rough, man. I'm a banger and shit, man. Shit. Motherfuckers, they used to get me on their team and shit just so I didn't have to guard them. They were like, you know what, Rob, I'd rather you on my team, man. Because Rob's shit. Rom, but that's how I play. But technically, hey, that's me. Everybody got to discover not so much listen to the game, but how they personally play the game. You know? Because that's the only way. You're going to know. If you want to, like, okay, like the talking with women example. Only way you're going to know what really works for you is if you actually do it. You can't, and I've said this several times. And you know what? I've had a lot of videos recently with this same thing, but people keep asking me some stuff, and I'm like, dude, you just got to talk. You got to do it. Shoot. Don't ask what to do on a date or read all this shit. You gotta find out from that woman and figure the shit out. Then you gotta figure out, all right, I took this woman out on a date. Got no parts of the panties. What did I do wrong? You gotta figure it. Now you could ask me for a perspective, but ultimately you the one on the date. And that's the same thing, even with let me use I love that basketball because it's college basketball season, and you know, I love my St. Joe's Hawks and whatnot, man. And to me, a couple injuries to some key players, but I think they might be able to straighten things out. But if you really look at the coaches, right? And this is any coach. If you really look at the coaches, all the coaches, they can put you through drills, they can have a strategy, but you the one got to execute. You know, they can tell you that stuff and they can yell at you, they can do all that stuff, but you got to execute. And then once you execute, then maybe I can twerk it a little bit. Or, you know, yeah, tweak. I can tweak it a little bit, twerk it. You see what's on my mind. Yeah, but you can tweak it a little bit once you go out there and do it, once I see what you're doing. Once you telling me. But see, some guys don't want to even get out there and play first. They want to get all this stuff. I was like, man, you ain't gonna know anything till you run it. That's how you get the experience. That's how you know what's up. You know, you can't be on some you know, theory shit. And too many people do that, and then they got all this theory and shit, and still, you know, they having trouble. And I'm like, dude, that's the only way you're gonna learn. That's how you gonna figure it out. You can talk to me, you can talk to a bunch of, because I mentioned in my previous video about talking with a bunch of hoes. You can do all that shit. You can read the Kuma Sutra. Because it's funny to me how you got some cats out here who they read all the dating books, including mine. I'm just going to be honest. That's why, like, some people say, well, you just talking some general shit. That's all because I don't know your particular situation. You know, they read Art of Seduction, Laws of Power, Kuma Sutra, and only had like 2 women in their life. I'm like, dude, what's the point? You know, meanwhile, you get some cats, like you got some cats, using basketball again. Those dudes can play. They ain't been to nobody's basketball camp. They ain't read any books on, you know, playing basketball, anything like that, but they can just play because they just get out there and do it. That's why a lot of street dudes really got the game, because they just get out there and do it. They ain't watching these videos. In fact, I got a lot of cats who watch my shit just for confirmation. They already know. I can listen to them and talk. They already know the game. They holler at me because I understand what they're going through. So, you know, you gotta get out there, y'all. Fuck the bullshit, man. Fuck, you know. Oh, god damn, that's some. Oh, fuck. Look at that shit. Man, there's a big ass salt thing right here. Ain't that some shit? Alright. Anyway, right. That's it for now, fellas. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.